Hello, Wake Up New Zealand, Sakey speaking. Well, many of you will remember the Northland roadblocks of Honi'S, the checkpoints, and there was a lot of controversy around that. And remember, the police ended up with some of those activists that were there at the roadblocks, those iwi. So Honi'S made a statement, and he said, if you're not double vaxxed, don't come here, don't cross into our territory. You must be double vaxxed. If you're not, stay at home. So that was reported in mainstream media, and Hipkins said, oh, look, he had no right to do that. Other members of parliament said he doesn't make the laws of this country and he should not be doing that. But what's happening now? Is the government now pandering to Honi'S? Because now there's a new legislation, well, a bill in Parliament. They're hoping to make it legislation before the general election this year. So what's this bill all about? So Christopher Foley first flagged the proposed law changes in 2019 when it came to the emergency management of this country. And Kerry Allen in December 2021 announced that the government would be introducing an inclusive, modern, fit-for-purpose emergency management system. So anyhow, her role was taken over by Emergency Management Minister Kieran McAulty. Then Kerry Allen announced that the new bill in 2023, she was pushing for the Joint Emergency Committee's emergency management response to include iwi and Maori. There will be several through the regions of New Zealand with emergency management committees where 2 or more iwi Maori would be on those committees to make sure that those committees are compliant with the treaty and iwi Maori interests. So we're talking about emergency committees, joint emergency committees, co-partnering, co-governance of emergency management in New Zealand to collaborate with Maori iwi on regional plans. So McAulty said it was 2 at first. They originally said 2 members of iwi. He said, no, that's a minimum ceiling. So each region could choose. So it could be 2 or more. And, this sort of thing is happening right across the country. So wouldn't you think they wouldn't go on, who your forefathers are, or the colour of your skin or your race, but who's best suited for the job? Who are the professionals? Who are experienced around this area? So this is what's happening in New Zealand. So there was a delay in introducing the bill because of the discovering of different issues. They didn't match up with current law. So that had to be amended. Certain bills or legislations have to be amended. So you can just see the dominoes effect there. Amend one, amend one, amend one, and make it fit for purpose for what they are doing right now. It's the co-governance partnership. So the bill is planned to be introduced into legislation before the election. And this is what this is all about. And it references the 4 R's: risk reduction, response and recovery around emergency management. This includes enhancing Maori iwi interests, where they play a more significant role in operations planning, giving advice as to emergency management across government agencies, providing rights planning participation operational activities, given government and other advice to emergency management teams across New Zealand, across community, national, regional settings, levels. So thus requiring iwi Ameri to deliver emergency management plans by specifying the distinct and separate functions of emergency management and also in local authorities within each area. So that bill comes into effect after a day after royal assent. Governor General gives royal consent there. And the proposals included are that the bill refers, these are all the clauses, the bill refers that it gives effect to the Treaty of Waitangi, provides the bill binds the Crown, sets out the powers of the Director, provides the role of the National Controller and National Recovery Manager with certain powers during a state national emergency. It provides for establishment of a National Maori Emergency Management Advisory Group. One that would be a role of approving providers of warnings and notifications. So it also provides for membership of emergency management committees where there has to be 2 or more Maori. Provides the Emergency Management Committee must appoint Maori members in accordance with regulations apply to each individual area. The Minister must appoint a Maori member to committee if the first Maori member have not been appointed. Sets out the duty of local authorities to ensure their continued functioning during and after emergency. And it also applies to functions and duties in respect to offshore islands like Waiheke, Murihi, etc. So all this involves a co-governance system, provides the appointment of persons who are authorised to declare states of emergency through the whole area, whole region, multiple districts within an area, or multiple wards from within districts. Provides for the appointment of persons who are authorised to declare states of local emergency as to local transition periods for the individual districts and wards within the districts. This includes local and area controllers of emergency management committees. Clause 101 provides for a controller, recovery manager, constable, or authorised person to evacuate or exclude persons or vehicles from any premises or place. Provides for controller, recovery manager, constable, or an authorised person to enter any premises or place for certain purposes. Also authorises them to prohibit or restrict public access to roads or public places. Authorises the controller, the constable, to remove a vehicle, a craft, provides for authorised person to requisition land or other property that's owned, or a person whose property is controlled. So if you own a property, they can make a requisition on that property. So it provides for a constable, recovery manager, controller to direct a person to stop an activity or take action, to carry out inspections and other activities in relation to property, private property, rented property, animals, or other things. Clause 125 provides that it is an offence for a person to threaten, assault, or intentionally obstruct any person performing a function under this bill. If they fail to comply with the direction, then there is a breach, is a criminal offence. So they must comply with these restrictions imposed. If they fail to comply, then prosecution will follow for breaching that bill, that act. So if an authorised person wants to obtain information from a person, it's an offence if you don't give that information, if you don't comply. So it sets out provisions relating to infringement offences under the bill, and the director may issue infringement notices for infringement offences. So it's a regulating, making power for regulations relating to the appointment of Maori members of emergency management committees and emergency management coordinating executives. The Crown reimburses local authorities for certain expenses relating to emergency management activities. They also reimburse iwi or Maori organisations for certain expenses relating to emergency management activities. So Clause 150 provides for the interaction between the bill and the Resource Management Act 1991 in relation to activities undertaken for the purpose of emergency management in New Zealand. So we've also got the World Organisation for Animal Health being held in Wellington one was held overseas, and that was about emergency management and the threat to One Health approach. Also, there's another one of these sort of meetings being held in Wellington in October this year. Now, they say it's about animals, so that would be about wild or domestic animals, but One Health approach is actually the control of humans, animals, wild and domestic, soil, plants, trees, oceans, estuaries, rivers, streams, fish in the sea, the oxygen you breathe, the whole ecosystem. And this is also embedded, the One Health approach is embedded in the C+ World Health Organization International Pandemic Treaty, but will be introduced in the World Health Assembly in May 2024 that Helen Clark is co-chair of. So all of this actually revolves and is indoctrinated, is embedded with this One Health approach. So what I can see here, it looks like Honi'S and his checkpoints may well become legislation. Wake up, New Zealand.